I've reviewed and talked about maybe 3 or 4 turntables on this channel over the years. I don't do a lot of turntable stuff on this channel. Still have records and own records that I've had from when I was a kid. So they have a little special meaning to me. You know, I can still remember listening to those records when I was 15, 16, when I lived in the basement in my parents' house. Not lived in, it was my bedroom. But I would go down there and listen to records each and every night. I still have some of those exact records. So those have an emotional meaning to me. I'm kind of bonded to those. So I always have to have a way to play them. Now, in the past, I've reviewed turntables from Dr. Fikert, the Volari that I had here for months. I really enjoyed that table. It's kind of a higher end table. A little tweaking had to be done with it to get it just right, but it was a solid choice. I also reviewed the more affordable $500 Fluence RT85, and I've had one of those for a couple of years now. It feels like a couple of years. And I pull it out from time to time to do comparisons, and I think I have an Ortofon Blue on that, and I also have an Audio-Technica cartridge because that one has the exchangeable head shells. Great table for $500. I've also reviewed the Pure Fidelity Harmony, which is the nicest turntable I've personally ever encountered. Pure heirloom quality, but you pay the price for that quality. Today I want to talk about a turntable that is my #1 favorite pick in the under $1,000 category, and it comes in for much less than that. And it's from a USA company, so they're assembled, dialed in, tested right here in the United States, and that company is U-Turn Audio. U-Turn just released their newest Gen 2 of their popular Orbit, and they added some features by listening to customer feedback, right? The first gen Orbits were very basic but cool, understated but nice, beautiful sound but very simplistic in design. The Orbit Gen 2, and I have the Orbit Special here in black, brings quite a few upgrades. And I received this table a couple of weeks ago and I've been listening to it, and it's a solid table. It's clean looking. The design is still simple, but it's understated yet beautiful. Comes in multi-colors, and I want to tell you about the changes that U-Turn has made to the table so you can decide if maybe this is a right pick for you. First of all, what have they changed? They added, at least in the one I have here, which is called the Special, the Orbit Special, they now have an electronic speed control, which is very, very welcome. In the past, you would have had to have changed the belt to change the speed from 33 to 45. I've owned a few tables in life where you had to change the belt to change the speed. Kind of a pain in the butt, but not really a big deal. But electronic speed control is even better. That means you just flick a switch and you go from 33 to 45, whatever you're playing on the table at the time. So that is a very welcome update. The acrylic platter is very nice. It now has a notch indented all the way around, which makes it super easy to put the belt on. And speaking of the belt, it's going to feel a little different if you've put on a belt drive turntable before. Usually they're kind of slimy and slippery and smaller than where you need to put it, and you kind of have to stretch it around the belt. With the U-Turn Orbit Special, I thought the belt was defective. I took it out and it seemed really big and floppy, but it's a perfect fit because this belt, you do not stretch over the platter. It fits perfectly. This way it eliminates having to buy belts in the future when they become stretched out and no longer grip the platter. So that's really cool too. There's now a Magnesium, all new tone arm they designed for this. It's made out of Magnesium. The anti-skate is built in. You don't have the little dingle ball hanging from it. I kind of dislike those dingle balls. They always just, to me, look kind of weird, and I'd rather have it all internal like this. But the new Magnesium tone arm feels great. The cueing lever is nice and damped, comes down slowly just as it should. You'd be surprised at how many pricey tables I've listened to and had in here where the cueing arm is jacked up and the needle just drops really hard to the record. Right here, this one works really, really well, and it's really, really nice. The arm feels nice, and attached to it, out of the box, is an Ortofon Red cartridge. Now, that is the starter cartridge in the Ortofon lineup. Years ago, I had a red, I forgot what table I had it on. It might have been a project of some sort. And me and my son, when he was little, we used to dance in our living room playing records, silly records, like silly songs. It was kind of a fun time. But the Red is not known as the all-out refinement monster, but that's okay. Here on the Orbit Special Gen 2, it sounds really good. As a matter of fact, it sounds better than the Red I used to have, and I like it better than the blue I have on the Fluence. So the Orbit Special Gen 2 with the Red, to me, sounds much nicer than the Fluence RT85 with the Ortofon Blue. Go figure. But the arm feels really solid, really nice. The plinth is all wood. I have a matte black finish here. It also comes in red, green, white, I believe, and some wood grains. So you can pick what color and style you like. What else can I tell you about the table? The feet are vibration absorbing. They are rubber coated, I believe, is what U-Turn says, and this helps to eliminate some vibration. Now, I had it playing, and I was jumping up and down. We have wood floors back here, and it wasn't skipping. There was no thump. I was tapping all over my counter. There was no noise coming from the table. And another cool thing I like about the table, so when I first put it in, I set it up. It took about 10 minutes to totally set up the table. And that was with me checking and validating the setup. The tracking weight was spot on right out of the box. Everything was perfect and ready to go. I plugged it in at first to a Yamaha RN2000 receiver, which is a gorgeous receiver that sounds beautiful. I recently reviewed the RN1000, the RN2000. I did a written review at my website. If you want to check that out, link in the description below. Several notches above the 1000, and it has a built-in moving magnet phono stage. So I was listening to it and I was like, this sounds really good. It's very pleasing, very nice. And then I said, well, I wonder what the internal phono stage of the U-Turn Orbit Special sounds like. And it's their all-new phono preamp built into this table now, Gen 2 of that as well. I plugged that in and I activated, I plugged that into the analog ins. I activated the table's phono preamp, and I was blown away. It sounded quite a bit better than the one inside the Yamaha, and that was surprising because usually the internal phono stages of record players are really lackluster. Usually they sound thin, they're low gain, they can be noisy, crunchy. This one sounds fluid, full, big, and beautiful, just as you would expect vinyl to sound. So I spent the last, whatever time I've been listening to it here, I've been listening to it with the built-in phono preamp on the table. So it also comes with an acrylic dust cover, has a little Orbit logo on the top. What else can I tell you? It feels really good, but yet it's kind of basic looking, but it's kind of got that minimalist vibe, and that means it's easy to set up. You don't have to tweak with anything. This isn't really a tweaker's table. This is a set it up and forget it kind of table, and your records will sound really, really good. What else can I tell you about this table? It's under $650 for the Orbit Special Gen 2. You can also go to their lower end tables. They have, I think, prices starting at $300 or $400. They also have a custom option where you can go to their website and order a custom table. So you pick the color of your plinth, you can pick a different cartridge, I believe. You can choose the electronic speed control or eliminate it. You can choose the internal phono preamp or eliminate it. So you can pick whatever it is you want. That's kind of cool. The one I have, actually, you can get right on Amazon via Prime, or you can buy it from U-Turn Direct. Again, that is the Generation 2 Orbit Special. And this is a really, really nice table. I prefer it greatly to the Fluence RT85. It's built better. It just seems more quality, and I like the looks of it better. The Fluence RT85 is a budget monster of a table, $500, comes out of the box ready to roll. But the U-Turn Orbit Special Gen 2 sounds better, feels better. It just has a better feeling vibe about it. And I like the fact that the company's right here in the United States. And this is a table that has everything you need and nothing you don't. So if you're like me and you just have a bunch of records that you want to play, and they're maybe not perfect pressings, master recording type of things, this is a great table for everybody, right? Besides that 2 or 3% who get really finicky about their vinyl. Under $1,000. There's competition from Rega, the P1, the P3 is a little more, of course. I've heard the P1 and P3, very fine tables. Rega makes some great tables. Comes down to personal preference. Me, I like the fact that this is just out of the box, everything works, and everything sounds beautiful. You can change or upgrade the cartridge, but there will be limitations. You're not going to want to put a $3,000 cartridge on this table. I suggest keeping it just as it is because it works, and it's really, really a fantastic turntable for the money. So that was it. I just wanted to talk a little bit about this table. I think it's a fantastic buy if you're looking for your first table, if you're looking for an upgrade table, if you're not someone who's looking in those $10,000 table ranges and $3,000, $4,000 cartridges. The U-Turn Orbit is budget. It's not a $200 table. You're gonna have to spend a little more for it, $650 for this one I have here, but it's well worth the cost. Those of you in the comments who are gonna say, it's overpriced, it's not overpriced. This is a really fine table for the money, and most importantly, it sounds fantastic. I can also highly recommend the built-in phono preamp. I think it competes with preamps up to $500, which is really cool to have inside of a $600 table. I do like the speed control. It's very easy to turn to the speed. The table is noise-free. I don't have any humming. There's no chirping of the belt when the table starts up. Again, this is a belt drive turntable. It's not a direct drive like the Technics, say SL1500 is. Direct drive is powered differently and it turns the platter differently from the belt drive. With the belt drive, you put the belt on a pulley. That pulley then spins the belt and spins the platter. There are differences in sound between belt drives and direct drives, with direct drives having a more impactful grooving type of sound and belt drives being a little more smoother, and I always say they're a little more romantic. But both have the capabilities to showcase the dynamics and the information on your albums. So that was my take on the U-Turn Orbit Gen 2. Really, really nice table, especially for the money. I'll have a link in the description below to U-Turn's website so you can read more about it or read about the custom options. I'll also throw a link to Amazon where you can get it via Prime and check it out for yourself. Very easy. Again, once you get it, you take it out of the box. You basically put the platter on, put the belt on, put the mat on. It does come with a mat, and attach your dust cover, and it's ready to go. Hook up your interconnects to your amp, and you're making music in about 10 minutes. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, whatever time of day it is, wherever you're watching, and I will see you in the next one. I love you all.